Hello there, Christopher from CMM here with a new quick and dirty video. It's a first impression video and it's about the Doogee mix. Yes, I know in some comments I said that I won't be doing a review yet because I'm waiting for the first firmware update to be released because in my opinion this is not yet ready for daily use. But you guys keep asking for opinions and reviews, so let me just give you some thoughts on this phone. So usually I am doing reviews on phones no matter if they are good or bad. I usually don't wait, because if some manufacturer screws up and releases a phone that's not ready, well, it's their own fault. But in this case I just wanted to do an exception because Doogee actually are the very first company to release a 3 bezel-less phone in the style of the Xiaomi Mix that is situated in a budget price range. And well, kudos for that, great job. And this is why I wanted to give them a chance, and I still want to give them a chance, but well, you guys want information, so here it is. I will tell you what the issues with this phone are. But before I show you the issues, let me just show you some things I really love about this phone and actually really like it besides the software. So first, the design. This is the Aurora Blue version of the Doogee Mix and it's just beautiful. Look at this gorgeous blue metal body, gorgeous blue glass with a mirror-like surface. Home button looks really nice. And also the rear is covered by 2.5D glass, and yes, it's Gorilla Glass, so damn, who is disturbing this video? So it is really tough. You won't get scratches on it just by placing it on a table like with most other cheap Chinese phones. I actually used this phone quite heavily already and it has no scratch marks on the glass. It's just a real fingerprint magnet, but well, that's something normal on a phone almost entirely made from glass. And also the camera module, despite sticking out the body a bit, does look gorgeous somehow. So design wise they did a great job there, and build quality, let me tell you, that is top notch. There's nothing to complain about except one little thing, and this is that they put the color coating above the plastic parts, which you can see here. So they tried to hide the plastic parts of the metal frame by painting above them, but that's not a really good idea because those parts are under stress when using the phone, and this could potentially lead to the paint peeling off the frame. So we will see if this will happen. Yet it did not, but I am sure at some point it will, which really is unfortunate. But besides of that, really great build quality. It feels like a premium device. Buttons do not rattle. Really nice. So let's turn it on. Screen-wise, the phone looks gorgeous as well. As you can see, it's very similar to the Xiaomi Mix. And we almost have no border above the screen. Of course, despite this being called 3 bezel-less, it really isn't bezel-less. There is a bezel around the screen, of course. Even the Xiaomi Mix has it. Here it's a bit thicker, but you also have to consider the price difference. But still, considering the price tag of this phone, it's just stunning what they did there. The upper frame is just so narrow. Look at this in comparison to my finger. Really not comparable to the normal frame you got above the phone screen on most other devices. So yeah, it looks really good, and the AMOLED panel, despite being HD, is fun to use. Great colors, deep blacks, great contrast, really nice. Just because of the HD resolution, there's not a full HD resolution. It might look a little bit blurry sometimes, but really that didn't disturb me much while using the phone to date. It still is a decent screen. And you also have to consider that the HD resolution is kinda doesn't use as much GPU horsepower as a Full HD display would. So you end up, or potentially end up, with a better performance and less battery consumption. And also due to the fact that this is an AMOLED panel, this means that less pixels will use less energy as well. So that's about the screen. And performance-wise, this phone basically is great too. We've got 6 GB of LPDDR4X RAM inside of there, so pretty speedy RAM, and 64 GB of memory. And of course the Helio P25, which is the 2.5 GHz version of the Helio P20, which is MediaTek's first 16 nanometer chipset. And this processor is really speedy, it's really fast. It might not reach scores as high as the Helio X20 in Antutu, yet it still feels faster if it's properly optimized, which unfortunately isn't the case here yet. I'm really sure Doogee will fix this with time. And exactly this leads us to the issues this phone still has. So it's full of software bugs. This software running on here basically is a beta version. I was shocked when I unboxed it and tried using it for the first time. It did stutter a lot. It was really to the point of being, well, not unusable, but I had a hard time using it, being myself used to using smooth running phones. So you really didn't notice the fast processor at all. Now I did improve this by deactivating the stock launcher. They're using a custom Android version here, which also has a very different launcher. But this one is so poorly programmed that it is very slow and slows the whole phone down. So I replaced it with the Microsoft Aero launcher, and now the phone runs a bit smoother. Sometimes it runs totally smooth, but then it will suddenly start to get hiccups again and get very slow. So they really should fix this because it's really annoying. So another issue this phone currently has is screen brightness control. Let me just demonstrate this. I have automatic screen brightness control activated now by hiding the light sensor under my finger. So it tries to reduce the screen brightness. So we'll now take a while until it's adjusted. There we go. And now look at what happens if I try to adjust the screen brightness range the automatic screen brightness operates in. Boom, screen off. Screen on, screen off. So as you can see, if the screen brightness gets too low, it just turns the screen off, which is a huge problem because you can't see anything on an AMOLED screen if the brightness is set to 0. It's simply turned off then. I really don't know why they didn't notice this while testing their software, but this has to be fixed as soon as possible, because the first time I went outside at night with this phone, I thought it's broken because it didn't turn on anymore, but in fact it was turning on, but just the screen was turned off because the brightness was set too low. So they really need to fix this. Now another issue the software still has is battery consumption. Battery life is crap. We've got a 3000 milliamps battery inside of there, yet look at this, despite the efficient processor we only get an average of 3 hours and 30 minutes of screen on time. This isn't even 1 day of use. In my case it died after half a day. So yeah, battery life crap at the moment. And partially this also is caused by the phone not going into deep sleep. When I tracked the deep sleep activity, let me just check if I did a screenshot of this. Here we go. Here you see 31% of screen off time the phone was in deep sleep, which is not enough. This should be around 80 to 90% in the best case. Yeah, another issue we have is app compatibility. So there are a lot of apps that simply don't work. One example for this is one app I regularly use for testing phones, AIDA64. If I open it, boom, AIDA64 has stopped. Open it again, and boom, there we go again. And also Netflix does not work, but that's the case on a lot of Chinese phones recently, I don't know why. So this is also something they should fix. And also the system isn't stable yet. You often get crashes of applications. For example, DB Navigator, which is an application for German trains to get connections and stuff. And yeah, this crashes regularly as well. And I also had some issues with the camera, where it often crashed the camera app, and after that I couldn't use it again until I rebooted the phone. Always got the error message, can't connect to the camera. Please make sure to close other apps that may use camera or flashlight. Yeah, one more issue. What else do we have? 4K video recordings don't work really well. They have great audio quality, picture quality is also okay, but they show heavy stuttering. Let me just find the demo clip I recorded to show you this. There we go. And here you can see
this is a test recording 4K video on the Doogee.
That this doesn't run smooth at all. And like that, recordings really aren't usable. So here we see we have really bad stuttering in this video. So they definitely need to fix this as well. Another issue is that fast charging doesn't always work. Sometimes it does, sometimes it does not. Sometimes it takes 4 hours to charge the battery to 100%, sometimes it takes just 2 hours. I also don't know why this is, but they should fix this as well. And also in general, they need to optimize the operating system because, as I said, it's stuttering. It causes high CPU load, which causes the phone to heat up and eat up the battery in no time. So yeah. All along, the firmware really isn't that usable right now, which, as I said, is really sad because the phone itself would be a great device. Yes, the HD resolution of the AMOLED screen isn't perfect, but you really get used to this. You really don't notice it anymore then. And in general, it's just a nice phone. It looks nice, everything works well despite the software. Cameras halfway usable, but they really should have skipped the dual camera, by the way. This one is totally useless, which I will show you in a camera video I will do in the near time. But yeah, good reception quality, GPS works well, we have a gyroscope in there, we have a compass in here, all of them work fine. Audio quality is okay, telephony quality is great, audio quality while recording videos is great. It's just, it could be a really good phone if the software would be awesome, but it isn't. And actually there's one thing I forgot to show you, one more issue. And this is actually about controlling the operating system. So as you can see, we have a home button here, which is a non-press home button, so a solid state home button, just a touch sensitive area. And we've got touch on screen buttons to control the system with the normal keys like app switcher, home and back. The problem is that you have the option to hide those software buttons and only use the phone with the home screen, home button. But the issue about this is that, okay. So there we go again. I got hit, okay, there we go. So as you can see, phone crashed. This was the display driver in this case, I think. Whatever. Where are the software button controls? I forgot where they are. There we go, navigation bar. So, as you can see here, you can say navigation bar can be hidden, and then you get this to hide the navigation bar, and you can show it up again by swiping from the bottom to the top. And you can also say hidden navigation to hide it completely forever and only use the home button to control it. But the problem is that they forgot something. You can change what a long press should do. So back always is, one tap always is back, and a long press can either be home like it is now. What happened there? As you see, buggy, totally buggy. So as I said, long press can be either home or it can be app switcher. You can change this in the fingerprint scanner settings. Double click, here it is. Recent list, long press would bring up the app switcher. But as you see, there is no way to use it as a home button. So the only thing to go back to home now is to tap, tap, and then I'm home. But there is no way to go directly to the home screen. So there would be an easy way to do this, for example, double tapping. But this option isn't there, so this hasn't been fully thought to the end. And they really should fix this, because most people would love to only use the home button for navigation inside the system to get the full screen estate for their content. Most don't like to use on-screen software buttons. I myself am one of them. So yeah, let's hope that with the next update they won't only fix the performance issues and app crashing issues and compatibility issues and whatsoever issues, but also improve the home button navigation. So yeah, I think now I covered everything important about the current state of this phone. So yeah, Doogee Mix, potentially great phone screwed up by bad software. Let's see how this goes. I probably will start doing the review now because I'm tired of waiting, and will then give you updates about Doogee's updates. What they are changing, if they're improving anything, and so on. So that's it for this first impression video about the Doogee Mix. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye bye.